What if I told you that the man they once called a music mogul just sat in court, stone cold, while the walls of his empire started to crack? This isn't just a trial, it's the collapse of a kingdom. And day one? Chaos. Hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. I was telling everyone earlier in the show, after sitting through yesterday's court proceedings, hearing opening statements and a couple of initial witness testimonies, that I think Diddy might actually beat this. His defense team is sharp. Here's why. First off, they did an incredible job of redirecting the conversation around the Cassie video. They didn't deny Diddy was aggressive, but they framed him as reacting in a volatile situation that was already boiling over. That nuance is important when we think about the alleged victim claiming Diddy put his hands on her. Now let's get into the video, the one everyone's talking about, the one CNN aired that shows Cassie getting hit. The court brought in a witness, a man who was second in command for security at the Intercontinental Hotel back in March 2016. He was one of only 2 witnesses to testify that day. The first we covered earlier, the male escort. This security officer was technically first, but we discussed them out of order. He testified about responding to a call from Cassie, who was in the hallway near the elevators asking for help. The prosecutor questioned him first. He said he got a report about a distressed woman on the 6th floor. At that point, he hadn't seen the video and didn't know things had gotten physical. When he arrived, Cassie and Diddy were in a heated argument. He told them they needed to take it back inside their room and stop drawing attention. Cassie repeatedly told him she wanted to leave. Diddy allegedly wasn't having it, said she wasn't going anywhere. The guard told prosecutors he had to intervene, saying if Cassie wanted to leave, she had the right to get her things. He said, "I'll walk you to the room." They go back to the room. From the doorway, he saw a man in dark clothing sitting on the bed. This detail matters. According to Cassie, what happened in that video was her trying to get away from a so-called freak-off, one she didn't agree to. Everything caught on tape, she says, happened because she refused to take part. Diddy's lawyers have another take. They argue those were consensual acts. They pointed out how Diddy re-entered the room after throwing a vase and grabbing a phone out of Cassie's hands. The defense says the two were having a jealous argument over something Cassie saw on his phone. That's their version. The security officer is a critical witness. His version of events could shift how people see the case. He said that after Cassie left, a tall man, huge really, came to pick her up. She knew him, but the situation still seemed off. That goes back to the idea that Diddy had people orchestrating these freak-offs. Later, the witness said he went to talk to Diddy to explain that he'd need to pay for hotel damages. According to him, Diddy gave him a cold, almost demonic look when he came out of the elevator and then tried to pay him off. The man said Diddy offered a large sum of money to keep things quiet. Then came the cross-examination. Brian Steele, Diddy's lead attorney, took the floor. "Let me tell you, this man is surgical." Steele asked the guard if he was now a police officer in Los Angeles. He is. That's important because it presents him as someone with integrity, a cop, someone who knows the importance of reporting facts. Steele leaned into that. When you file incident reports, you're trained to include the who, what, when, where, and why, right? The witness said yes, so Steele started poking holes. Why didn't he mention Cassie's black eye? The man said he didn't think it was relevant back then. Steele pressed further. Why didn't you mention the unknown man in the room? Did you even speak to him? No, the guy barely talked. Why didn't you write down that Cassie asked you not to call the police? Again, he didn't think it was important. Steele argued those were glaring omissions, things you'd only leave out if you were trying to protect someone or manipulate the story later. And he didn't stop there. He asked the man to describe the layout of the hotel room. His point? If Diddy was in a presidential suite, there's no way you could see someone on the bed from the door. Another credibility issue. Then came the videos. This witness had filmed parts of the incident on his phone. Why? Because he recognized Diddy and wanted to show his wife what happened. In the video, he's laughing, joking about his shoes. That doesn't scream serious witness. He also told other hotel employees what happened and shared the footage with them. But now on the stand, he's remembering only what harms Diddy. Steele pointed that out too. As for the money, did he take it? The witness said no. Diddy offered a lot, but he turned it down. Steele countered that Diddy might have just been paying for damages. After all, if Diddy was being told what he broke and what needed to be paid for, wouldn't it make sense that he had a stack of cash ready to go? And yet that video sticks. No matter what story the defense spins, you can't unsee it. Diddy chasing Cassie, dragging her back. It's visceral. The prosecution says it proves abuse. The defense says it was an ugly argument, nothing more. Cassie is expected to take the stand soon. She's pregnant now, and seeing her on that stand, talking about being abused while carrying a child, that's going to be powerful. The jury will see a young woman once powerless against a man with money and status. More witnesses are lined up. The prosecution claims they have more footage, audio, and testimonies. We're only at the beginning, but if we're scoring this like a fight, Diddy's team took round one. He showed up with a haircut, cleaned up in grey and white. People left the courtroom saying, wait, is he actually guilty of all this? And then, just as things wrapped up, someone asked about the first witness, the guy who wet himself. Was he cute? No, apparently not. Someone joked he looked like Charlemagne's cousin. That's the latest. Court resumes Thursday. More fireworks to come. Continued in document. Full rewrite ongoing. But let's not get it twisted. What really shook the room wasn't just the footage or the back and forth between the lawyers. It was that witness, that hotel security guard, who's now wearing an LAPD badge. You'd think that would scream credibility, right? But no. Once Diddy's top lawyer Brian Steele got his hands on him, the whole thing unraveled like a cheap suit. First, Steele went straight for the throat. You said she had a black eye. Why didn't you put that in your report? And the man just stood there, blank. Didn't think it was important, he muttered. That alone raised every eyebrow in the courtroom. You saw a woman with visible injuries and left it out of official documentation? That's either sloppy, shady, or both. Then came the real bombshell. The mystery man in the hotel room. The security guard casually drops, yeah, there was another guy there sitting on the bed. But did he ask his name? No. Did he speak to him? No. Did he even write that down? Of course not. So now we've got a phantom figure, no identity, no record, and it just floats in the air like a ghost in this story. Steele wasn't done. You said Cassie told you not to call the police. Why didn't that go in the report? And again, the man stumbles. She asked me not to. But what about protocol? What about duty? Silence. That's when it all started to smell. Like someone trying to protect Puff. And yet, here's where it really gets twisted. The man filmed the entire encounter on his phone. Not for evidence, not for safety, but to show his wife that he met Puff Daddy. She wouldn't believe me otherwise, he laughed. In court. While discussing a woman allegedly trying to escape an abusive situation, that footage, he sent it home like it was a souvenir. The jury watched it. And in that moment, that witness lost every drop of credibility he had left. But wait, it gets darker. He claims Diddy offered him money, big stack of cash, to make it go away. But now he says he didn't take it. He refused. And Brian? Steele, calm as a snake, leans in. So you were telling Mr. Combs what damages he had to cover, and when you came back, the cash was already waiting. His point was clear. Maybe it wasn't a bribe. Maybe it was clean-up money, hotel fees, broken furniture, you name it. And all this leads back to that video, the one the whole internet saw, Diddy grabbing Cassie, dragging her. The defense wants us to see a heated fight between lovers. The prosecution says it's a window into something much darker. And here's the problem. No matter what either side argues, that video lives in the jurors' heads now. Rent-free. And Cassie, she's about to testify. Pregnant, emotional, vulnerable. When she walks into that courtroom and speaks her truth about the beatings, the drugs, the manipulation, those optics are going to pierce through every legal argument in that room. So, now we wait. One day in and already the foundation is cracking. Diddy's defense team won the first round. But when Cassie takes the stand, it won't just be a trial. It'll be a reckoning. And this was only the beginning. Subscribe for every twist, every scream, and every courtroom collapse.